Electromagnetism, or the electromagnetic force, is one of the four fundamental forces of nature. It generates light and energy and holds atoms, matter, and the world as we know it together. Electromagnetism is a branch of physics that studies the interactions between electric and magnetic fields. All matter has an electric charge, which can be positive, negative, or zero. Opposite charges attract, while like charges repel. These electric forces bring and hold atoms together. And when atoms gain a positive or negative charge through the transfer of electrons, a measurable electric field will form. If those electrically charged particles start to move, the field will become a flowing electric current and form a magnetic field around it. Under the right circumstances, interacting electric and magnetic fields can continuously produce and sustain one another. This generates an electromagnetic field that transmits waves of electromagnetic energy or radiation into space. The intensity of this radiation is determined by its frequency. These frequencies make up what's known as the electromagnetic spectrum. Near the middle of the spectrum is visible light, such as light emitted by stars, fireflies, and computer screens. On either side are invisible electromagnetic waves. On one end are long, low-frequency radio waves that broadcast television and radio signals, microwaves that carry telephone signals and cook food, and infrared waves emitted by fires. On the other are short, high-frequency wavelengths, ultraviolet, X, and gamma radiation. Unlike low-frequency waves, these waves can pass through the human body, making them useful for medical applications. While electromagnetism has daily applications, it's also the engine that drives the planet as a whole. Thousands of miles below the Earth's surface, a layer of liquid metals churn and flow. This generates electric currents that then produce magnetic fields that all together encompass the entire planet. Called a geodynamo, this process causes Earth's poles to attain positive and negative charges, turning the planet into a giant electromagnet. This phenomenon also creates a protective layer around the planet. It shields us from the most harmful radiation in space, leaving us to enjoy a world held together by the strange and fundamental force of electromagnetism.
Hello and welcome to this week's show. Well, as a result of last year's CoreLogic Perceptions of Real Estate Agents survey, it showed us that there is no substitute for people and sales skills. We already knew that. Artificial intelligence and bots are great and they should be harnessed into a business, but I'd encourage you never ever to ignore the importance of personal one-on-one communication. Now, having said that, a little bit of smart tech can go such a long way. We know that that's a fact. Enter the next generation of the data supplier that launched it all, and the one I guess that many of us grew up with. I'm talking about RP Data. It's certainly been around for quite a long time. CoreLogic's head of real estate, Geoff White, joins me to talk about what the new RP Data looks like and why it needed to be recreated. G'day, Geoff. How you doing?
G'day, Kevin. How are you?
Yeah, good, mate. This is a pretty exciting thing, really, because I mean what I said there. We grew up with RP Data. It was the first, it revolutionised the information flow, not only for agents and their access to it, but also for consumers. It was a pretty important timing.
Yes, it was, Kevin. And as we know, CoreLogic was previously known as RP Data. As a company, has been Australia's leading independent property data solution for many years, as you say. And, you know, agents now need to have data at their fingertips. And the introduction of mobile facilities has been a real winner. And we've found that over the years, more and more agents are accessing this data via mobile. But This next generation product, which we've just launched, is a desktop solution, which brings it more in line with our mobile app and makes it seamless for agents to move from one to the other. So it was overdue, and we're very excited with what it can do and how it can assist agents in their day-to-day work.
Yeah, well, RP Data didn't really ever go away. It had a couple of changes of name that I can recall.
That's right.
What's behind its re-emergence, and what's it going to look like now, Geoff?
Yes, Kevin, look, over the last couple of years, we've constantly looked at research and feedback from our customers and our clients. And, with, 6,500 agencies or thereabouts using our product around the country, we get a lot of feedback as to what they want. And this was an opportunity for us to actually hone in on what the customer wanted. And the customers were comparing our desktop version to the mobile version and saying, gee, the mobile's really easy to use and we love the use of it, and we'd love it if the desktop looked a bit more like the mobile. So over time we've heard, we've listened, and now we've acted. So this product now being on a desktop, it will resemble what they've used on mobile devices, and it enables them to get all of that information a lot easier, a lot quicker, and it's a lot cleaner on the desktop screen. So that's sort of the background to why we've done it there, Kevin. And with technology and apps and those sorts of things nowadays, the cleaner the look, the better. Years ago, you'd put as much information on a page and, you'd hope people would find their way around. Nowadays, it's got to be clean and simple, and that's what this new next generation RP Data product is all about.
Yeah, well, you talked there about mobile, and that's probably brought about, so many changes in the way we consume information now. There's I call them a new breed of agent, and I've probably been talking about that for too long because there's no such thing. I think it evolves, and we develop new skills whether we're old or young. But can you tell me, give me a bit of an insight, because I know you really looked at this very carefully as a result of that survey that I mentioned at the start of the interview. What are agents telling you that they really wanted in this product, apart from it just being updated, to look like the mobile app?
Yeah, look, so the information that we had on our previous version, or the older version on screen, had it all there. It's a terrific product. It stood the test of time. It's the leading product in the country. But what agents were wanting was simply to go and run a CMA, a current market assessment report, or a valuation estimate, or a property report, or a rental estimate. All of these information and reports, and also a quick search of a property. So, and they didn't really want to drill down. It was based on the number of clicks that they had to do their job, and we've minimised that to a large degree. And you can find what you want, get in and do it, and get out quicker than you could before. And that's what it was all about. The fresh look enables that. It retains your existing search history, recent search history. So if you've gone into look on a property on your mobile and you exit out of there, when next time you go into your desktop version, it'll remember that last search. So you don't have to go looking or typing it up again if you want to run a report off your desktop. Things like that. There's and of course, in Victoria, we have the statement of information, which is required by law in Victoria. So that's also built into the new product as well, and it's a lot easier to do. So it was all about getting in there, doing what they have to do, run all of the reports that they want to run, and also then move on, because time is very valuable, as we know.
Yeah, well, of course, RP Data in the early days, and now more CoreLogic, have been very heavily relied on as a reliable data source for where the market's headed. Even banks using it for valuations. Are there any smart tools built in this to help agents get a better understanding about property values, Geoff?
Oh, look, I think it's about finding things, because I think what we found with the version that's been out for so long is that often an estate agent time poor, and sometimes their attention to detail, they don't like digging in for looking for things. They were missing some of the important reports, and And if they want to look up, an automated valuation on the new platform, which is a bank grade valuation, they can actually do that virtually at the press of a button or at least on the main screen. So when they first log in, the screen's very clean, put in the address, and all the vital information that they want and need there and then is there on the home screen of that property. So it's very, very simple. So it's all about getting in there, getting the information that was previously on our older site, now a little bit more easier for them to find and use. And they'll get more value out of it, and they'll come back to using it more to enable them to assist them with their business.
Yeah, well, that's the value, isn't it, of listening to your consumers or understanding what it is they need, and certainly growing up with them. Can I ask you, this new rollout of RP data, is it going to be made available to consumers as well as agents?
No, this is for existing subscribers. So it's a product that you need to subscribe for. But if you're a current subscriber to the existing product, moving across and transitioning onto the new platform, what doesn't cost you anything. It's just a simple click up the top and you're into the new one. So if you're a bit unfamiliar or you want to go back to the old one, you can do that. So we haven't cut off the old version and forcing everyone onto the new one. Because the phone would ring, I'm sure, if that was the case. So they can transition across and start to get used to that new desktop version. So no cost to existing subscribers other than what they're already paying there, Kevin.
Yeah. It's interesting to hear you say that it's made available to agents or subscribers. I guess it'd be fair to say with the internet, when it first came in, agents lost a lot of control over information. And while there's nothing wrong with that, it is important that information is understood and I guess properly analysed. Is this a step in the direction, do you think, of giving agents a little bit more power back, or the ability to have some information that they can then display and discuss with consumers?
Yeah, that's right, Kevin. There are certain reports that can be run from our platform that aren't readily available anywhere else. So an estate agent can actually run a report if they're intending on having an appraisal meeting with a vendor. They can present the reports to assist them through the process if they're listing the property or whatever it may be, even selling. So we're there to assist the estate agent to provide information to the consumer and make sure that the estate agent is still very relevant in the transaction. And we believe that's very, very important. There is a lot of information that consumers can get by simply Googling an address, and certain information will come up. And property portals nowadays do have a lot of information about properties that consumers can get. But there are certain reports, and particularly the valuation reports that are run through our platform, that are significantly more than what you can get via the general Google search. So it is very, very important that agents, utilise those products to ensure that they have the best advantage with the clients that they're dealing with at the time.
Gee, it's interesting to reflect back. I'm going to give something away here too, but in the late 80s, early 90s...
I remember those days.
Oh, goodness gracious me. Getting some information was difficult. We had to ring council to do council searches. Yep. You remember those days. And getting the real property description. And then along came RP data, and it was like a revelation. It was just amazing how quickly we were able to get the information. But also, Geoff, how far it's taken us in terms of being a professional organisation, opening up this information and having a lot more information available. So it certainly is a step in the right direction, I believe.
Oh, yes, exactly right. And I think estate agents have been very reluctant to open up a little bit of this information to clients and the consumers. But in the end, the consumer, that's life nowadays. The consumer has the power of the internet, and the days you were mentioning are well before the internet. So they were very reliant upon the estate agent, and if they weren't armed with the right tools, they weren't actually providing that thorough professional advice that they could have. So nowadays, everything is there, and at the press of a few buttons, the estate agent can extract a lot more data and information about a property that you could ever get, and assist that consumer in the selling or buying of real estate. And that's what they're about. And the more professional advice and information that they have, the better that they're able to do that. And they can do that through our next-gen real RP data product.
Just as an aside, Geoff, do you remember the days when we used to take photographs and had to take them down to get them developed before we could put them in the window?
I remember, Kevin, when they used to, before photos, we used to have sketches done, and the sketches appeared in the papers before photographs. So, yeah, I'm showing my age, but anyway, I've moved with the times.
Mate, you might also remember carbon paper too. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah, no, hang on. Yeah.
Getting a bit... Yeah, look, I've got to say, you know, I don't relish those days because it was really very hard work. And, you know, full marks to you, Geoff, and great to see RP Data back with us. It feels like old home week. I absolutely love it. So congratulations to you and the team there at CoreLogic. Geoff White.
The team's done a great job with this product, and RP Data is a product of CoreLogic, and we're constantly refining. And this product will constantly be refined as we get more research and obviously feedback from our customer base. So onwards and upwards there, Kevin, and thanks for the opportunity to have a talk about it.
Oh, pleasure. My pleasure, mate. Good on you. Geoff White, of course, joins us from CoreLogic every Monday and every Friday when we have an in-depth look at what's happening with auction activity, and we look forward to doing it again this week. Geoff, thanks for your time.
Thanks, Kevin. All the very best.
Four years ago, here at TED, I announced Planet's Mission 1 to launch a fleet of satellites that would image the entire Earth every day and to democratize access to it. The problem we were trying to solve was simple. Satellite imagery you find online is old, typically years old, yet human activity was happening on days and weeks and months, and you can't fix what you can't see. We wanted to give people the tools to see that change and take action. The beautiful blue marble image taken by the Apollo 17 astronauts in 1972 had helped humanity become aware that we're on a fragile planet, and we wanted to take it to the next level, to give people the tools to take action, to take care of it. Well, after a mini Apollo project of our own, launching the largest fleet of satellites in human history, we've reached our target. Today, Planet images the entire Earth every single day. Mission accomplished. Thank you. It's taken 21 rocket launches. This animation makes it look really simple. It was not. And we now have over 200 satellites in orbit, downlinking their data to 31 ground stations we built around the planet. In total, we get 1.5 million 29-megapixel images of the Earth down each day. And on any one location on the Earth's surface, we now have, on average, more than 500 images, a deep stack of data documenting immense change. And lots of people are using this imagery. Agricultural companies are using it to improve farmers' crop yields. Consumer mapping companies are using it to improve the maps you find online. Governments are using it for border security or helping with disaster response after floods and fires and earthquakes. And lots of NGOs are using it, so for tracking and stopping deforestation, or helping to find the refugees fleeing Myanmar, or to track all the activities in the ongoing crisis in Syria, holding all sides accountable. And today, I'm pleased to announce Planet Stories. Anyone can go online to planet.com, open an account, and see all of our imagery online. It's a bit like Google Earth, except it's up-to-date imagery, and you can see back through time. You can compare any 2 days and see the dramatic changes that happen around our planet. Or you can create a time-lapse through the 500 images that we have and see that change dramatically over time. And you can share these over social media. It's pretty cool. Thank you. We initially created this tool for news journalists who wanted to get unbiased information about world events. But now we've opened it up for anyone to use for non-profit or personal uses. And we hope it will give people the tools to find and see the changes on the planet and take action. OK, so humanity now has this database of information about the planet changing over time. What's our next mission? What's mission 2? In short, it's space plus AI. What we're doing with artificial intelligence is finding the objects in all the satellite images. The same AI tools that are used to find cats in videos online can also be used to find information on our pictures. So imagine if you can say, this is a ship, this is a tree, this is a car, this is a road, this is a building, this is a truck. And if you could do that for all of the millions of images coming down per day, then you basically create a database of all the sizable objects on the planet every day. And that database is searchable. So that's exactly what we're doing. Here's a prototype working on an API. This is Beijing. So imagine if we wanted to count the planes in the airport. We select the airport, and it finds the planes in today's image and finds the planes in the whole stack of images before it, and then outputs this graph of all the planes in the Beijing airport over time. Of course, you could do this for all the airports around the world. And let's look here in the port of Vancouver. So they would do the same, but this time we'll look for vessels. So we zoom in on Vancouver, we select the area, and we search for ships, and it outputs where all the ships are. Now imagine how useful this would be to people in coast guards who are trying to track and stop illegal fishing. See, legal fishing vessels transmit their locations using AIS beacons, but we frequently find ships that are not doing that. The pictures don't lie. And so coast guards could use that, could go and find those illegal fishing vessels. And soon we'll add not just ships and planes, but all the other objects, and we can output data feeds of those locations of all these objects over time that can be integrated into different people's workflows. In time, we can get more sophisticated browsers that people pull in from different sources. But ultimately, I can imagine us abstracting out the imagery entirely and just having a queryable interface to the Earth. Imagine if we could just ask, hey, how many houses are there in Pakistan? Give me a plot of that versus time. How many trees are there in the Amazon? And can you tell me the locations of the trees that have been felled between this week and last week? Wouldn't that be great? Well, that's what we're trying to go towards, and we call it Queryable Earth. So Planet's mission 1 was to image the whole planet every day and make it accessible. Planet's mission 2 is to index all the objects on the planet over time and make it queryable. Let me leave you with an analogy. Google indexed what's on the internet and made it searchable. Well, we're indexing what's on the Earth and making it searchable. Thank you very much.